How's it going, guys? Oddly Unorthodox again on Total Warhammer 3. I did tell you guys the other day that I would be treating you guys to a wood-esque sort of build, using sort of Durfu, a branch wraith, a tree man. My only issue with this build is I'm not that good at it yet, in the form of these are new units to me. You know, I don't really use Glade Guard. I prefer the Way Watchers when I play Wood Elves, and I normally go sort of quite cavalry intensive, and like that. A build that I did find is quite cheesy, but it is very fun. You can see I've got numerous guides showing you sort of how to play that. So getting into this game, I had a Dark Elf ally and we were against two Dwarfs. Not ideal for this because I knew they were just going to build a massive box between them. I'm not saying like don't do that as a Dwarf. I'm not saying that makes you a scumbag. It's just a typical sort of Dwarf play, in the same way that Wood Elves mainly use sort of rush type builds. You know, it's completely respectable. I'm not hating on them due to it. And this actually turns out to be a really close game. And I mean like a really close game. So my army is 5 Glade Guard with Hagbane tips. We've got 2 Eternal Guard with shields there, Durfu, Tree Man and Branch Wraith, and then 4 squads of Dryads, just to add a few numbers. I'll tell you at the end sort of what I would like to change on this build if I was going to go for it again. So it is an issue with the Dwarfs because the Dwarfs have a lot of fire damage easily available to them. You know, if it's not the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, there's other units and stuff like that that have got fire damage. I'm pretty sure the Regents, the Renowned Slayers as well, have fire damage. Where are they? Dragonback Slayers, do they? Yes. So I do a little bit of kiting, scooting and shooting with the Hagbane. That's my sort of idea, is, you know, I got some good shots into the Slayers, weather down the Slayers, and then try and weather down the other units. So Durfu gets a really cool ability. Where are you? There, the Sword of Daith, which is like a big AoE, drops armour, deals a fair amount of damage. I dropped my Manticore summon quite early. Playing Durfu in the future, I think I'd actually drop a lot of his spells to make him cheaper. There's just no need to cast them all when you'd rather use your Winds of Magic on healing. So we just drop a Feral Manticore to try and shut down this massive Quarrelers and Rangers, in the hope, because I don't really want to get absolutely rushed. And I made a massive mistake of doing what I tell you guys never to do, and look at all my Glade Guard that is able to chase away with one squad of Longbeards because I didn't split them. In the future I may go sort of Deepwood Scouts instead, maybe 3 squads of Deepwood Scouts, just for the bit extra damage. So we get in there, you know, he's quite quick to react with Slayers. Slayers are just such a strong unit, makes them very hard to deal with. I do the Sword of Daith and Flock of Doom in that area, hoping to drop some models. You know, decent amount of gold off that. Now, I played a game before this, which I'll upload later in the week, which was a slightly different build. And these two together were able to slap Ungrim. But obviously this time he's got the assistance of his cannons on the hill and stuff like that. So, you know, the Dryads are in there trying to cause a few issues, you know, winning some combats if I'm honest. But we drop a regrowth there. And then I let my team down by terribly misplaying this. I take so much damage on Durfu and my Ancient Tree Man when it really wasn't necessary. But I soon sort of pick up the idea with my Glade Guard. You know, I pull some Eternal Guard to stop these Longbeards. Get these 2 Glade Guards shooting into it. Get the high ground there. Get these guys shooting into them. And then I leave this squad of Dryads just to hold the hill, I guess. Really bad misplay this part. You know, I get caught by Slayers, where Dryads are not going to stand a chance against Slayers, especially ones that have got flammable imbuement. So, I lose this fight in the middle quite horribly, nearly cost me Durfu, basically cost me my tree man, and you know, my tree man at this point is at 490 value, which is abysmal. You know, you're talking a unit that's quite expensive and he's not even made a quarter of what he costs yet. So, we now continue our scoot and shoot here, breaking off squads of Longbeards, you know, chopping them down. We managed to deal with these Slayers, and then I realise that this fight over here is not for me. So I sacrificed the Branch Wraith for a little bit just to buy me some time, and then I regroup my Durfu, my Tree Man, and then I pull my Branch Wraith out in a second. Send the Dryads in to buy me some time. Now at this point, this would have been a perfect Sword of Day Flock of Doom AoE, but sadly I did not have it up then. So we managed to salvage the situation somewhat, but it's not looking so hot. You know, the enemy now outnumbers us by quite a fair amount. I've got to get to my Dark Elf player. He was playing a lot better than I was. You know, he really managed to chew through the units. You know, Malekith's putting in work. We do get our cast of the Sword of Dave there. Not a great cast if I'm honest, but it did some damage to the Slayers, chipped away at them. And it sort of bought me a little bit of time. So, I start grouping everything up. These three guys, and now I go, right, I need to start popping Earthbloods. Get them in the forest so you get the blessing of the Ancients. And as you can hear my scooting, here, you can't hear this. As you can see, my scooting and shooting is proving to be somewhat effective. You know, we've peppered them down. Belagor's being kited, he can't really do anything about it. And, you know, these Longbeards not having a great time. And as you can see, the healing's actually starting to come through. You know, Durfu's back. Tree Man's got a bit of HP back, and now I decide I want to go take out these Longbeards, break them off, and then I can probably go deal with Belagor too. Sadly, my Dryads are sacrificial pawns to what's going on over here. I sacrifice purely. Now, I am going to show you a bit of a different build as well. I'll catch this in just now, of me using a Wood Elf roster, but with more elite infantry, Blade Singers and stuff like that. Another Earthblood drop down. Didn't really mean to catch those Dryads, but I suppose more HP the better. And these Longbeards are now the next ones to be kited and dropped. So a massive mishap from me at the start of the game, but now I'm showing you that I've seen players before that will straight up quit at that moment. You know, don't quit, continue playing it. It's not ranked, you've got nothing to lose, but a lot to gain. It's always worth learning how to come from behind, because all it takes is one person to have a blunder, and you know, you're straight back in it. And I'm peppering the Slayers here, knowing that I'm probably going to have to run the Dryads in to sort of buff them away. And as you can see, Durfu's back to 3000 HP, 2700 on that guy. Branch Wraith is back to full HP. The Slayers are obviously going to absolutely destroy this combat, but I'm just holding them there so I can pepper them and kill them. I want to kill the Slayers and then get rid of Felix. But he obviously sends Belagor back now, realising that he's getting a bit bored of being kited. We finish up the Dragonback Slayers. And then that was an absolutely poor cast from me, which was the Lamentation of Despairs. I haven't used it as much as I should have, really. It's a spell that you get for free on Durfu. It doesn't cost you anything to cast it. It just has a cooldown, so he can repeatedly cast it as if it's not on, once it's back off cooldown. So, I've dealt with the Slayers. And now I want to deal with Felix, because I don't really want to have to deal with Felix. I don't want him to get back and healing. If he had gone back and started healing Ungrim, you know, it would have made him a complete and utter nuisance. So we send the gank squad to go deal with Belagor up here. You know, we run these Glade Guards straight out of the combat, and then we go send the 3 of them up. And this is not a fight Belagor wants to be in. Belagor is a good character. You know, he's got some good abilities and he's a strong character. But it's still not the 3-man sort of beating he wants to take. You know, they're both armoured, armour piercing. Even the branch wraiths in there. And as you can see, Belagor is not too happy about getting beaten by a tree. Well, 2 trees. 2 trees and a shrub. You know, putting the work on him. And that should be Belagor dealt with. And Felix has been peppered down. So what we do is we break Belagor. Now, I want to make sure to shatter him. I don't want him coming back. So we break Belagor off. And then he shatters in a second. There you go, he's shattered. So now we send our squads to go deal with Felix and make sure he doesn't come back. How much value has the branch wraith made? Not much, but you know, she's there just to heal. That's all I really used her for, was to spam heals. So I shouldn't have used my spells at the start of the game, and if I'm honest, you can probably get away with taking them off Durfu, making him cheaper, and then I took all the spells off her and made her a healing bot, and the spells I spent sort of dropping the, you know, you saw the Manticore summon, which was a waste and things like that earlier, would have been a lot better if I had just saved that for more healing. I would also like to try a build of Ariel, but she's so expensive. 3,000 for a hero. But maybe I can use her in like an ancient tree man. Or even her and Durfu. So we pepper more squads. You know, the Glade Guard's proven to be real MVPs here. You know, they've just been kiting and shooting this whole game. But it is looking rather scary. You know, still triple our unit size. And I will speed up a little bit here, so I don't want to keep you guys watching this video for 20 minutes. You know, we do a lot more of the sort of sending units in to keep the squads off and then bring the Glade Guard back. But really, I didn't have enough squads to continue this up. So we get some casts off, you know, we get some Longbeards that come back. You know, Durfu, I think, even for someone that hadn't used him well, really did make quite a decent amount of value. I think he did really well, especially like even the Glade Guard that are not overly expensive, but I do think maybe I'll look at changing them for Deepwood Scouts. Just that little bit extra damage, and I'm pretty sure normal Deepwood Scouts are armor piercing as well. So that should just help deal if I did play against Dwarfs again. Whereas this build probably would have been very beneficial against more of a horde-based army. So more of a poor choice in units from me to face against Dwarfs, but it's important that we learn these things, you know. We're still getting good damage out, you know, we're still peppering squads out, we're still breaking a lot of them off. But dealing with Ungrim and his 2 squads of Slayers is just something that I hadn't prepared for. Really well played to my opponent, both opponents, and really well played to my ally. You know, my ally worked wonders with Malekith. Kept breaking off squads, kept being annoying, and all in all, just a good game. Was really happy to play it, got a lot of enjoyment. You know, you're looking, this is not a short game, we were a 20-minute game, and these are the games that I enjoy when it is to the teeth. But well played to the Dwarfs, you know, they played it well, and my choice in army position and stuff like that is what let us down. Let's look at values like I like to. I like to just give you a gist of sort of what values I got where I would change. The tree man is probably not the best bring against Dwarfs. Maybe get rid of the tree man, get rid of the branch wraith and bring Durfu and Ariel. Probably could have been a nice choice. 5 squads of Glade Guard. I'll probably drop all 5, maybe bring 3 Deepwood Scouts. I think the Drows did okay. My position of them was quite poor, but they sort of stood there, got shot at and held units in melee. More effective than my Eternal Guard by far. But, right, that's everything for today. I'll catch you on the next video, and if you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what things you're enjoying, what things you're not enjoying, and if you want to see different armies. This has been Oddly Unorthodox, and I'll catch you on the next one.